guys, it's Takako. On this channel, I'll be showing how I create one-of-a-kind garments using sustainable materials with collaboration from featured guests. In the last episode, Ceci shared her background, her Barbie project, and ideas of the garments she wanted to make. Ceci and I actually talked about sustainability and recyclables in our video chat, so I'd like to share the conversation in this episode. And then we are going to review the garment at the end of the video.
I was reading recently that I guess China would always buy the recycling from the United States, and they have in the last year, I guess, there's been a lot less of that. They're not purchasing our recyclables. And so a lot of US cities have just started dumping recyclables. We like the problem to not be ours anymore, but we also want to just get a new thing all the time.
In Japan, for example, when we need to recycle things, on Monday, you can only throw paper away. On Tuesday, you can only throw plastic away. On Wednesday, so they can collect those recyclable things properly. This is a schedule for collecting waste and recyclable from one of the cities in Japan. Every city has their own rules, but this schedule here is pretty standard. So in the district in the first line, they collect paper and plastic bottles on Mondays, glass bottles, cans, and plastic items on Fridays, burnable waste on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and non-burnable waste on the first and the third Mondays.
Because Japan is such a small landmass, and so you have to, and I think so often it's sad to say, but if you can hide it somewhere, human nature, if we can hide it somewhere, we hide it for as long as we can.
So I think so Japan is such a small country. You said we don't have space to hide things. Another thing is that we don't have natural resource. So we have to recycle things and reuse things. That's why, do you know kintsugi? We put ceramic bowls when they're broken. We stitch them together with gold. We had to create that kind of culture so that we can keep using the same thing.
A lot of my art projects, the Barbie project, which is almost all reusable stuff that I'll make miniatures out of. And so I recently got rid of my trash can. And I just, and I still throw things out, but that way I was I have my recycle and I have my compost. And if it doesn't go into one of those, I need to think about it more. And so I'm trying to not buy things that you have to throw away. And of course I still throw things away, especially if I actually follow the rules of the recycle bin, because there's stuff that you think you can put in there and then you look closer. But I think that's part of it, is being more aware of what, every item has a life cycle. And if it's valuable enough for you to buy the first time, what are you doing with it? How long is it going to be in your life? And then can you do something else with it later?
So in the last episode, Ceci mentioned that she wanted to have a utilitarian aspect, but still wanted to feel feminine. She also said she loved long skirts, wanted to look elegant, and Ewok. Ceci actually had this idea of making a backward apron, and I thought it was a great idea, so I sketched it out, including all of her requests. But I still wasn't sure if I was fully understanding the Ewok theme. I felt like she wanted to have something look natural, so I chose brownish yellow. It has 4 pockets at the front, 2 pockets on the sides, and 2 pockets on the back. There are 2 loops on the side back where she can hook her keys or tools. The waist belt is adjustable with the buckle, and there is a seam right below the hip where she can detach the bottom part if she wants to use it as a mini apron. She liked my idea, and I showed her some sustainable fabric options that could work for the shape and still look elegant. And she picked the denim fabric. The fabric was very interesting because it contained recycled poly. It uses 10 plastic bottles per yard. Since Ceci and I live close to each other, I decided to make a mock-up in muslin and had a fitting with her. We liked the front part except the buckle and the waistband because they didn't go well with the main body. So we changed the waistband into a tie. I showed her 2 kinds of pockets on the back, and we liked the square shape because the shape went well with the front pocket shape. We eliminated the horizontal seam because it was distorting the shape, and we made the shape of the garment less A-lined at the sweep. I was glad that you picked denim because it's gonna look cool when you wear it, and it's such a strong material.
Yeah.
It's gonna last longer, and which is sustainable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the dark denim. I just feel like whatever, there's almost a part of me that wants to get paint on it, you know, like I want it to get, you know, it will only look cool and worked and like lived in, you know, and so that I do like the fabric we ended up using. It's so interesting how anytime that you're working with someone else creatively, you have to answer all of the questions that you forget to ask yourself. I think that just the process sometimes of saying it out loud or, okay, let me look for pictures. And so in preparation, you realize how unclear your idea already is. That process of like, every time I'd say something to you, it was, I could see your like pattern maker wheels turning, your skill set, sort of taking what I said and honing it down. And then as that's happening, I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, that's not really a very clear request that I'm making. Like what would it mean? But you grow so much in the process. I think my first instinct is to say, oh, I should have thought this through more before I took it to someone else, but it's actually so much more interesting to see what happens if you take really raw ideas and just say them out loud to somebody who's creative and expert in that field, and then they come to life in ways that you wouldn't think of, even if you tried to ask every single question that you could come up with, like the I not being in fashion that I would come up with, you know? So that, I think you achieved everything that I was asking for. Like we're able, like I said, to sort of clarify what I was thinking about, what I was trying to get to with anything. Maybe the Ewok idea is just still in gestation. It's still growing. Probably some of what I was pointing at in even bringing up the Ewok movie was that practical clothing that just looked cool, you know, and so it was all about practicality. And so
I think we are thinking about something more timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no trend.
Yeah.
I don't think you thought about any trend. It's more like personal thing.
Yeah.
That you really wanna use for a long time. So that's another sustainable part.
Yeah. There's the idea of a reproducible like bamboo or these products that are easy to keep making and growing, and they call them sustainable. But then there's also just anything that already exists, you know, and that you can make something out of what already exists. I think it might be fun as like a design challenge to say, oh, okay, like I have this material, Taka, like can we make something like this out of it? You know, like how, like to start with what already exists, because we just keep making, as a society, we just keep making more stuff and it doesn't go anywhere. So why don't we use the stuff we already made and figure out where we can go from there? Maybe that's gonna be the Ewok project.